Greetings, Summoners. Cosmic here, and welcome back to another Battle Spirits Saga video. And today we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of TCG Player and, well, pre-sale prices, right? So, of course, obligatory disclaimer, I live in the States. I can only speak to the States, buying and selling meta. Other regions may be different, but I think in general, pre-sale prices are always high across the board. So I just want to, create a quick video as kind of, hey, those who might not know better, don't buy the pre-sales, and also kind of talk about what pricing to expect, because there might be a pre-sale that's actually worth buying, which I know sounds crazy, but depending on where we've seen some of the SPRs, like in One Piece, the alternate art leaders were way undervalued. They were $30. You could buy them like nonstop. Now they're going for 200. I don't think we're going to see anything that crazy, but still, it's a good discussion point. But before we get into that, I think it's really important to bring up two separate things. On the main website, an FAQ was updated, and it's really, really important that you check this out. There is one card in particular that is going to make some very interesting conversations for the rest of this week, but just in general, there's a lot of good information in there that people might not have known unless you're mostly active in the Discord and keeping up on it, so I do encourage you to go check that out. The second thing is that this is, the 20th at the time of recording this. This is the last weekend for your local game store to sign up for the exclusive tournament promos that will be available at only weeklies. So again, if you're looking to play Battle Spirits Saga down the road and you want to have those exclusive promos for regional events, because spoiler, they're probably going to be important, go talk to your local game store. They only need to buy, I think, like 8 boxes to get promos, to get the launch event and the weekly promos, and that's very doable for the vast majority of stores, especially if you're telling them that you will buy a few of those boxes. So again, don't just go up there and tell them, hey, order 8 boxes. Tell them, hey, I would like to purchase some boxes. I will commit to this amount. Is that enough to order, 4 boxes? The store puts up 4 boxes, right? Something like that. It gets product into the stores. It gets players interested in the game. It's really just an all-around win. So again, I can't stress enough, this is a call to action. This is the last chance to do this, and it's going to be so important because these are the promos that you'll need and only have a chance to get for these 3 months, or for the set 1 season, so to speak, and then they're gone. And if we know anything about Battle Spirits, they love making past cards relevant again, and sure, they get reprinted at some point, but it could be 6 months, it could be a year. Who knows? So again, I really can't stress enough, go talk to your local game store, get them excited for Battle Spirits Saga, and at the minimum, get them to sign up for the events, because it's really, really important. Okay, so what is going on beyond all that kind of intro stuff out of the way, right? The good, the absolutely fantastic, wonderful, love to see it, right? Great news. Battle Spirits Saga is now on TCG Player. Yay! Right? Cool. Great. What's not great is if you look at some of these bloody prices, right? So for an overview standpoint, remember the core set, this first item here, is only supposed to be $10. The starter decks are $15, and a booster pack is $5. So $4.99, right? So it's $3 up. Basically, all these prices are doubled. This is awful. And what really caught my attention is if we actually click into the booster boxes themselves, there is already some of these selling. I think it was a core set was the other item that sold, whatever it is. This is too much. I guess if you factor in full MSRP plus tax, right? You're getting there. I get it. It's pretty close, all things considered. But places like Core TCG, places like, I think Game Nerd still has some stock available as well, right? I know Poto sold out, so that's not an option, but I'm sure they'll restock anyways. All these other stores have boxes available for under $100. I think 95 is kind of the going rate right now. I think we've seen as low as 80, but I think those are sold out now. So again, speaking strictly for the States, your region may vary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But definitely go check out your normal online stores, of course, after talking with your local game store, as I just mentioned, because they got to sign up for the weekly promos and they need people to buy product from them to get the weekly promos. So go do that. But again, it's a little bit interesting to see some of these prices. I don't think any of the other starter... Oh, God. There is a lot of starter decks moving, too. And again, 4/28, we do know that is the sale date. But again, these, I promise you, these are available in other areas. Please do not buy these for double the price. Again, in some areas, if we've seen One Piece, we've seen Dragon Ball, we've seen Digimon, there very well may come a point where spending 100, or what is it, $119.99, I think is what it comes out to, or $119.96, whatever the math works out to, right? $120 plus tax, which is MSRP. That would be a great price to pay for One Piece boxes, which are going for over $200 now for set 1 and set 2. And Spoiler, set 3, some early pre-orders are already well over MSRP as well. Now, I don't expect the same exact level of demand, obviously, as One Piece, one of the largest IPs in the entire world. But for those that don't know, Bandai makes their pre-orders like 6 months in advance. I think the window for BS02 was only 4 months, so 4 to 6 months in advance. And that's what they print. That's it. That demand that's due 4 to 6 months earlier is what Bandai will print to. Right or wrong, obviously there's a lot wrong with it, but obviously for a business standpoint, understanding that they don't want to absolutely flood the market and lose a bunch of money on either side of that, they can only do so much with the printing side of it. So yes, Battle Spirits Set 1 will certainly be overprinted, to use the term loosely, because they will account, hey, it's a new set, it's a first new set of a new card game. They're going to push their, printing numbers a little bit higher. But for Set 2, they are going to reel that in. And we saw that with One Piece Set 2, where an entire distributor, and it was was Alliance. I was gonna say it wasn't Alliance. I was thinking Soho, but it was Alliance. They completely cut all orders of Set 2 for One Piece other than what people got for pre-release, which was like 2 boxes in a lot of cases, right? Like not a lot. I think our store got a case. I think it was 8 boxes. 8 boxes or a case. I forget which, but we had planned to get 3 or 4 cases, and we're not getting those now. So again, I do expect Battle Spirits Saga to follow some of that to a painful degree, and we will, right? I'm sure regionals will be announced for June, which means we find out in April about them. Bandai will do an announcement, and then it's like, okay, now everyone's excited. They see that we're getting a bunch of $10 or $15 or $20,000 regionals, just like Flesh and Blood did. Really gets the hype going. Everyone wants to play. Oops, there's no product, right? That's going to feel pretty bad, especially then with EX01 dropping in June. So again, all this is really leading up to, say, a very long-winded way of saying that building a community and building a relationship with your local game store is extremely important. Not just for yourself, right? Not just for you to enjoy the game and get promos and all that sweet stuff, but for the game's overall health. There are going to be people who will drive an hour to 2 hours to get product, and that is a great way if they're listed for the weekly events. Their name gets thrown up in the Bandai TCG Plus app, and new players will find your stores. It's really great. So with that all the way, with my pricing disclaimer, let's talk about what we can expect, at least at a high level, for kind of a price breakdown for some of these various rarities. Now, again, I do have the Dragon Ball Super, the latest set, Power Absorbed, up here. I also love how they do their dual colors, just side note. But so SPRs, that is kind of the one-to-one, right? So we're expecting these to be 2 per box. You can see we have one that's going to be, 17 on the high end. And then there was one that was like, $1, right? So the one exception here that I'll say, and everyone will obviously agree, is that Absolute Ice Shield kind of is not real, right? It's like its own rarity in the sense that the price is going to be significantly higher for Absolute Ice Shield compared to any other SPR, where, for example, something like Royal Potion will probably be the $1 SPR. Now, again, I'm going to be buying 4 because I know that card can get very bonkers, and likely with Set 2, or maybe even as early as EX01, we can see some more lists with it. So, spoiler, I'm going to just snag a couple of those for myself, and because I just want to play a set of all the higher rarity stuff anyways. But so if we get into things like, Curse Dragon, or if we get into Deadly Balance and what's the other one? Star Blessed Draw, right? I think like $20 and higher is probably going to be a good overall point for that until prices start to normalize. Again, we have seen cards that generally be like 15 to I think 40, if I remember, like in Digimon is like one of the higher ends. So that's like a range. And with Absolute Ice Shield, it kind of expands beyond that, right? I would not at all be surprised if you pull an Absolute Ice Shield and it goes for $100, just to throw a number on it, $100, alternate art, Absolute Ice Shield. But for the rest, I think it would be much more balanced as if we see kind of in that, it'll be a little bit higher because it's a new game, right? 20 to 30 range. That's like your SPR, like the good ones. And then your bottom of that, which again will be things like Royal Potion, will just be, $5 because people are probably trying to sell it, but it'll definitely tank out by EX01 or BSS02, False Gods. Going on from that, we have our super rares, which are going to be the X rares of Battle Spirits Saga. So again, that's just like the one-to-one. Again, assuming that we're going to have similar box ratios, which I will be opening up a box on Friday and uploading it to YouTube. I got all the software downloaded and stuff. So just whenever I can get a box from the convention center, go back to my hotel, record it, and open it. We'll have it. So definitely look forward to that, and some other videos that I'll be posting up on Friday just to get them all out there. And I'll talk about like upgrading the starter decks and all that stuff. But anyways, all that out of the way, super rares, right? So much like with One Piece right now, we saw, let's say Zoro, I think was the top played one. That ended up going I think as high as 30. I think it's back down to 20 now last time I looked. I'd have to do a double check. But generally speaking, your super rares, or again, X rares, are going to fall in that $15 or less. So this is where it comes to, if you have a X rare that you really like and you think that it's going to be worth more, and someone lists it for like $5, yeah, I mean, $5 is kind of a low gamble either way, especially if you think it's going to be higher. What would even be a good example? I guess like Curse Dragon. That's just like, I know that one's gonna be played a lot. So if someone pre-sales a Curse Dragon for $5, yeah, I'm probably buying it up, knowing that there is going to be a supply shortage at the beginning, and it's just an easy card to spec on if that's what you want to do. But I want to at least make sure I guarantee my playset. That said, if we go towards the bottom right, I think those are the box toppers, so that's whatever. But if we go towards the bottom, it's going to be like 25 cents. So a lot of times what we'll see in Digimon and where One Piece is going to go, because the boxes are so generous, you will fortunately or unfortunately end up in a scenario where you open a box, and unless you hit on the alternate art or SPR, it's pretty much a dead box. You wasted a bunch of money and you should have just bought singles, which is normally the case for box openings. I get it, but the value just largely isn't there unless you're mass opening boxes. So buying a box in Bandai Games, in my personal experience as someone who was just like buying one or two to support my LGS while playing Digimon, felt pretty terrible. Just as someone who's played Flesh and Blood, Magic, and every bushy game under the sun, that's just my hot take on it, I guess, as it were. But with foils, those will actually help out. Like a foil Ice Shield, like a non-alternate art foil Ice Shield, right? So the rare slot, it becomes foil. That will be worth more than a lot of the SP or X rares, right? Or the super rares. That's kind of funny when you think about it, but that's just how it is. So the foils do help add value back into those boxes, so it doesn't feel as bad. And then of course the Saga rare, which could be one per case, could be one per two case. We don't know yet, but obviously that's going to help you recoup some costs as well. But that said, I would expect a lot of the X rares to be well under $10 because again, there's just going to be so many that are being open, and it's not something that I would, really stress over and have to worry about all that much. And then the last kind of rarity to care about is rares. And again, I know that it's not like Digimon where it's 2 rares per pack, but at the end of the day, people are going to be opening enough boxes to get X rares and stuff that these are just going to be, they're still going to be largely worthless. Obviously, foil rares will have a higher premium because foils are harder to get. Things like Absolute Ice Shield are going to be worth money. Things like Mordred, I haven't looked at rarities in a long time. I'm actually blanking on it. What's a rare versus what's an uncommon in some cases. But obviously, if you look over some of the deck lists that have been published for a rare that pops up, if it's a foil version, it's definitely going to demand a premium in that sense. But again, a good price range, or even if you look at Digimon or even some One Piece rares, right? Even a set that is so in demand, people are paying $200 a box for, the rares are like $1. So, it's a lot of people are trying to flip into those. Obviously, the highest chase rating, the Manga Shanks and Manga Ace, or the alternate art leaders, those are worth big money. But then the rest of these cards really don't sell for anything. So just a quick video I wanted to put out. There's a lot more to come this week. So this is just like kicking off a new week of videos. I'm finally back and going to get back in the groove of things. But I looked over the White Elephant or, Elephant Control, whatever people are calling it, right? Just White Control deck in general list that we had tested, which was now 2 weeks ago. And that list was terrible compared to where we ended up on a list closer, leading into Vegas. So I'm not publishing that one because I think it's awful. I just kind of sweep that under the rug. But we will have some other videos out this week, and again, all the unboxing stuff. So please do look forward to it. But with that, I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay hydrated, my friends. If you are going to Vegas, don't forget to say hi because I will definitely be around and would love to jam a game with anyone who is interested. And I will have, just the yellow deck that I'll be playing since I'm not getting my product till after. But it's always great to just jam some games and see some people. So with that, take care of yourself. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.